Today we'll be talking about drawing figures. Figures are difficult to do, but once you've mastered doing portraits and still lives and all of that, you might start to get interested in drawing human figure. Here we've done a 7 heads tall, 7 to 8 heads tall person. Most people are 7 to 8 heads tall, unless you're talking about a child or somebody a little on the shorter side. Notice that I measured out each proportion looking at the elbow joints and shoulder joints, knee joints, ankle joints, and I mapped those out beforehand. I'm using a red and blue pencil today that I use for illustration quite a bit. Helps you be fluid and fast, encourages you not to erase, but to do a lot of what I call line finding. Line finding is where you continue to draw lines over the top of each other until it feels right. The red is a little on the lighter side, although warm and does advance. So what I do is I start with the red lightly, and I draw as much as I can with that first to get basic outlines, contours, and then some of the details. But then when I switch over to the blue, I'm into a high level of detail and whatever shading I can do. Now, if you've already practiced shading spheres and cloth and things like that, then this should go much easier for you. If you jump into figure drawing having never shaded anything else or drawn anything else, it could be on the difficult side. Drawing figures that are not completely robotic, even though this is a very stiff pose and scene, it is difficult to get in kind of natural tilt, natural feel to your subject. So it's going to take you a little bit of practice. Expect to draw 50, 60 figures before you start to get anywhere close to what you want. But once you are done layering it, I kind of check it there, it was close. Then you need to move on after that to try figures in motion. It's good to get that basic proportion, but then you really do need to try figures that are moving and in motion. You're going to have to deal with what's called foreshortening. In this particular case, his arm is sticking out more towards us, the other arm is drifting away, so one is much larger, one is much smaller. It's going to be the same process where I find where kind of the spine, where the head is, the shoulders, usually shoulders are about 3 heads wide. In this particular one, he's got an angle to us, right? One shoulder is a little further away, so that narrows that view. And you got to find all those points, elbows, wrists, knee, ankle. And then once you've got that, then you can start, utilizing your line, going over the edges where you see detail and contouring it, right? Finding the outside line that has accuracy to the folds of cloth or the size or proportions of the arms or legs. Then you get into the details again, just like last time, into the shading, and go from there. This is a female character, just to keep it well-rounded so you can see some of the differences, but again, it's really the same process. I'm finding the head, the shoulders, I'm finding the hip, the knees, the ankles, and I'm doing that using size right perspective, right? Where I'm holding the pencil out, closing one eye, and measuring the distance from one shoulder to the other shoulder, from the shoulder to the elbow, and I'm literally dragging that proportion back down onto my paper. The most important thing that you can learn today from this video is that drawing happens in layers. If you map out the right perspective, the right proportion early, loosely in the red, then you can start to layer on details and make changes. And you will make changes because it won't be perfect. You're going to need to make changes as you go, and that's okay. In this particular case, I had the model hold a yardstick, and often if you're asking friends or family to pose for you, if you have them hold an object, if you have them throwing a ball, swinging a bat, just holding a kitchen utensil, just anything to get them in kind of a natural position and natural motion, your drawing will go a little bit better. So this finishes out with just a little bit of fun where the person was standing on some sort of bench, and instead I replaced it with a rock and replaced the yardstick with a sword, and just have a little bit of fun with the narrative in the piece, right? The better you get at figure drawing, the faster it becomes about the narrative and what the character or person is experiencing. So this is just a baseline how to do figure drawing. It gets more complex from there, but go out and give it a try.